To Transformational Vedic Astrology. My name is Michael Mastro. Today we're going to look at the chart for Herman Cain, who died recently of coronavirus. He was born on December 13th, 1945, 7 a.m., Memphis, Tennessee. If you look to the eastern horizon when he was born, you would see the constellation associated with Scorpio rising at 27 degrees. 27 degrees becomes the most effective point of every house. Any planet that's close to that, like Sun, like Saturn, like Jupiter, has a lot of impact in this chart. So let's look first at how the planets are operating, then we'll look at when the planets are operating, the timing of events, because not everything happens all at once, and then we'll look at see what we could do to remedy the chart. So we're going to first see what the Multikona signs are, because they give us the lessons we came here to learn in this lifetime. The Multikona signs are 1, Aries for Mars in the 6th house. Any Multikona sign in the 6th, the 8th, or the 12th becomes malefic, along with Rahu and Ketu. So we have Mars can cause some challenges in the chart. And he's learning about health, conflicts, fire, theft, and cheating, delays and setbacks. Then you can see the 4th sign. The next Multikona sign is Cancer, ruled by Moon in the house of good fortune, politics, government, religion. And the next Multikona sign is Leo, ruled by Sun in the career house, learning about advancing in his career. Then the next sign of Virgo, ruled by Mercury in the house of income. Next sign of Libra, ruled by Venus in the house of spiritual growth through letting go of attachments, separations, hospitalization, addictions. Next Multikona sign is Sagittarius in the 2nd house, ruled by Jupiter, wealth, recognition, continuation of the marital bond. And then we have Aquarius, ruled by Saturn in the 4th house of happiness through home life and property. So let's see how each of the planets are operating. Sun is at 28 degrees. It's weak in an old age, but it is close to the most effective point. So it gave him very strong leadership skills in his career. He was a CEO of Godfathers, and he turned it around from a company that was not doing well. He was involved in politics, wanted to be presidential nominee for the Republican Party, and then he was involved in restaurants. So this Sun is placed in the 1st house of life purpose and longevity, and it is weak, so that can affect the immune system. Moon is at 12 degrees, and it is ruling the house of good fortune, so he can have good fortune through creativity, intellect. He got his master's in computer science and business, and Moon is about restaurants also, and serving the public in politics. Hospitality industry is Moon. So then we have Mars at 9 degrees. It's functional malefic, as we said. It is debilitated, and it is ruling this house of health issues. This has to do with the colon, placed in the house of liver. So liver and colon are affected. And that's the main thing. And it brings these delays and obstacles into that house of good fortune and politics. So there was some setbacks in his political career. And then had controversial views as well, conflicting, conflicts with his charismatic views on politics. I think he was, he was for the wars and against climate change, against wearing masks, etc. Mercury is at 14 degrees. It's afflicted by Venus. So it's, within 5 degrees of Venus. Venus is malefic. It rules that 12th house. So it can bring losses and expenses and separations and hospitalization into that first house, and influencing Mercury itself, which is income. So there was some setbacks with the income and friends, and Mercury itself gave him great analytical skills to turn these companies like Godfathers around, and he was also involved with the Reserve Bank, has to do with finances, IT, but again, critical of left-wing politics, opposed wearing masks. He was very much saw himself as separate from Muslims and not inclusive of all religions and races. Jupiter is at 29 degrees, close to the most effective point, but very weak in old age. So a planet can be weak if it's in infant state, like 0 degrees, Saturn, or in old age, cannot promote or protect its own significations. So Jupiter rules the house of wealth, recognition, and continuation of the marital bond, the stability in the marriage. So it gave him wealth and recognition through politics, leadership. He had 2 or 3 children, I think, but it also gave him some weak morals. So he had affair for many years, extramarital affair, and sexual misconduct. And Jupiter itself is liver, so weak liver, gallbladder and hips. Venus is at 16 degrees, gives spiritual growth through letting go of attachments, losses, affairs, addiction, separation from wife, separate life. Saturn is at 0 degrees, rules the house of happiness and home life. So there was some issues there with the home life, but it gave him great discipline and service. Now this is the house of lungs, so that also weakened his lungs for the coronavirus. Then Rahu and Ketu. So Rahu gives desire for secret life, so the affairs, and also research into how to turn these companies around. And then Ketu gives insights into creating wealth, but aversion to the stability in the marriage. So let's look at the timing of events. So there's always this balance between Rahu and Ketu. I want, I don't want. So we're always learning about that. They're always opposite in our chart. So let's look at the timing of events. He got married in 68 during a Mercury-Saturn period. Saturn is starting his family, income, of new family, basically. And then you have in 88 to 96, he turned Godfather's Pizza around during a Venus K2 period, insights into creating wealth for that company. Let's see here. And when he got the company, it was in a state of loss and it was not doing well. So then he transformed that company, and then he lost his bid for the Senate in 2004 during a Moon Rahu period. Moon is public service, and Rahu is obstacles to that political career. In 06, he had liver colon cancer during a Moon Jupiter period. Jupiter is liver. Moon would be representing colon in the house of colon. And let's see here. 11/7/11, he had sexual misconduct charges filed against him by 5 women. And that was during a moon Venus period. Venus is, again, the addictions and separation and losses. So losses of his presidential bid. He drops out because of all these allegations. And then in 7/2/2020, he was hospitalized for COVID-19, and so that was during Mercury was in the 8th house. So Mercury's lungs in the 8th house of long, life-threatening illness, and then natal Rahu was on top of transit Rahu in that 8th house as well. So causing cancer, causing, again, unexpected events and cancer possibly. He died of COVID on 7/30/20, and that was during a Venus, let's see here, a Rahu period. So again, Rahu in this death-like experiences house being emphasized during that period. And Venus was close to the most effective point in the 8th house. So Venus, again, is hospitalization and end of life. And then Mercury and Saturn were close to the most effective point as well in that 8th house of death-like experiences. So Mercury's lungs, Saturn is longevity. So those are the timing of events in his life. What could we do to improve his chart? So strengthening Sun would have given him better chances in his politics through wearing a ruby, wearing orange on Sundays, or a kavash containing a locket containing the Devata yantra for Sun. Strengthening Mercury would have given him better, less controversial speaking skills, probably, and improved his intellect as well, and his lungs to fight off the COVID. So again, wearing a green emerald on his right pinky finger, or he could again have that locket containing the Devata yantra for Mercury. Jupiter, if it was strengthened, that would have helped his liver, helped his political career again, and again, a Jupiter yantra, Devata yantra in a kavash. Then Saturn would have improved his longevity if you had a blue sapphire or the Devata yantra for Saturn in the locket. Moon would have strengthened his good fortune and his politics as well by wearing a pearl or the Devata yantra in a kavash. Kavash is the most economical, safe way to strengthen the planets. Now, we don't want to strengthen the malefics, so Mars, listening to Hanuman chants on Tuesdays, or just helping men that are like brothers, and I think he did a fair amount of that. And also listening to any kind of spiritual chants on Tuesdays would be helpful. And then Venus, helping women on Fridays, listening to Lakshmi chants or any religious chants, that would be helpful on Fridays. And then you can transform Rahu and Ketu. Rahu by listening to Shiva chants on Saturdays and helping men those who cannot help themselves, giving you charities. K2, giving you spiritual organization, listening to Ganesh chants on Thursdays, would have transformed K2. So chants and charities for the malefics and a kavash to strengthen the benefic planets would have given him more political success and better health. Thank you for listening. Again, my name is Michael Mastro. If you're interested in a reading, you can see this very accurate type of astrology. Vedic astrology, which is based on the sidereal zodiac, not the tropical zodiac of Western astrology, and we're mostly basing on the rising sign, which changes every 2.5 hours, as opposed to the sun sign, which changes every 30 days. So much more accurate. So yeah, go to www.vastucreations.com to select under services a reading, and then you can learn Vedic astrology at American Institute of Vastu.com and become certified. Again, thank you so much for listening. My name is Michael Mastro.